Welcome everybody to this webinar of how to select your ultimate integration platform as a service. Today I have with me Mike, the CTO of Boomi. I'm very honored to have him in this webinar. And today Mike and I will discuss how Boomi addresses the challenges of today when it comes to integration. Mike, welcome.
Thank you, Ruben. Thank you for having me here today.
It's great that you're here. Mike, I don't know if everybody knows you, so maybe you can have a short introduction of yourself. Who are you and what's your background?
Sure. So Mike Kissy, I am sort of field CTO and head of our sales engineering for Boomi across EMEA. So I have a great team helping our customers, maximize the value of what we do around our platform. I've been in the Boomi business for about 4 years. I've learned a huge amount around how this industry has changed over that period of time. But actually, I come from a technical background. I've been part of consulting, I've been an enterprise architect, and I've been an IT director for a law firm. So I have been on multiple sides of the fence when it comes to everything to do with technology.
Sounds great. So you have a huge background in technology. I like that in a CTO. So to get this a little bit started, what do you see in general when it comes, not so much Boomi, but in general when it comes to integration and API management? What's going on in the world?
It's a hot area, right? I think a lot of organizations are realizing that to maximize the value of what they have out of their data, they've got to now bring it all together. People are investing more in cloud-based services and SaaS and moving to the cloud. So that's created a gap and fractured things around what they've done traditionally. Organizations want to modernize, move out of their technology debt, simplification from where they might have been just sharing flat files, etc., or rudimentary homegrown type integration. They're realizing, actually, that doesn't scale. It doesn't provide us with the support that we need. It's difficult to diagnose, and it becomes costly over time. So they're now looking at, how do I revamp? How do I gain the benefits and scale of bringing these new platforms to help their own business? But integration then becomes, and APIs alongside of that, becomes a very important thing. Now, you look at them both, right? A lot of new organizations where they acquire technology that are API enabled, right? And we need to deliver and how we connect to them. Integration patterns are still very much there for application services and for data, but it doesn't mean that everything that you have requires an API, right? Before you know it, you're just going to be swamped with
Absolutely,
APIs.
yeah. I recognize that actually. So we as Yenlo, we have hundreds of customers all around the world. And when I talk to customers about their integration need, not so much API, their integration need, they all came from an SOA background, service-oriented architecture. We've seen it, we've done it, we implement for the last 10, 15 years, right? Now it's all about innovative, more event-driven architecture. Is it something you notice as well, and how do you address it?
It's huge. We're seeing a lot more of that composable architecture. So we've gone from SOA. People saw the value conceptually, but it was difficult to deliver with the technology at the time. Now, as we look moving forward, and if you look at what Gartner's talking about as part of their composable architecture, which is made up of experiences, right? So the UI engagement, the data, the APIs, and the event type architecture that needs to come as part of it allows you to build a business with technology that looks like a honeycomb, right? So each asset of that shape has connectivity to its surrounding shapes. But if something you want to abstract allows you to pull that out and push something in its place without too much disruption. So we're seeing more of that event-driven type architectures are coming in, that people want to have that near real-time experience, right? They want to have better ways of connecting to data, right, versus its traditional methods. And the use of APIs and the event bus and pub sub type architectures are now more becoming to fruition. Certainly those customers who have had long legacy interactions with ERP systems are now looking at well, I don't want to just move to the next generation. How do I take myself on a more futuristic journey and enable myself and future-proof myself for the future, which all requires decoupling of some of the legacy integration and building new ones, and then leveraging the APIs that are now being exposed to them through a common lens, right? That will allow them from developers to support to monitoring versus I've got a package solution for this, I've got a package solution for that, But how am I going to bring all of that together? We see that happening a lot more in the market.
You mentioned UI, user interface. That's an area that's not really familiar to me. So can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I fully understand the integration of data, integration of applications, and in a pub-sub pattern.
Yeah.
But what do you mean with the user interface here?
So user interface, I see it, and us as Boomi provide that capability. So we've got integration, we've got API management, and we can automate that. And we already do that today. That's really cool. But it's actually thinking about the business orientation and orchestration of an activity. So an example might be supply chain. We've got everything from manufacturing to the customer to logistics to inventory, right? And they've got their hyper automation in their own business unit. But then what we want to do is orchestrate across that. But actually what we're doing from an IT is we're giving people raw access to the tools, when actually, in some cases, you could actually scrape some of that with a front-end UI experience where the human jumps into that.
Absolutely.
Right? So the human can jump in, but they only need to see what they need to see. And actually that drives more efficiency, and then we can use that data, then we integrate it and provide it more things. So if we can reduce the number of clicks that someone's entering information, and then that gets moved, orchestrated more downstream, or
so more dynamic user interface, dynamic event-driven user interface as well.
And I think people are looking for, how do I get into the data I'm at with ease and speed, right? I can see it real time. We've all got mobile phones or smartphones, right? And it's there. It's that instant gratification of data, regardless if it's social or it's in the business, right? You're looking at reports, right? You're looking to make decisions. And that data needs to be purposely made available to you. You can read either graphically or just read as a text.
I like that idea. Please hang on there. Because that brings me actually to Boomi itself. So dive a little bit in the Boomi solution, the Boomi platform. You are being considered as a low-code integration platform. So you address many of these elements you address already with the existing technology, the existing platform. How will Boomi evolve with the new innovation or the new feature requests, like citizen development, like API management, like this event-driven architecture? So how is Boomi going to address these topics in the coming years?
We're addressing some of them now, right? Some of them are through partnerships that we have with providers of some of that technology. We like to pick some of the best of breed to actually help customers on that more broader journey, and we'll bring those together. We've actually laid the foundations, right? Our integration capabilities are second to none, right? API management is there, and there's more work to do. I think, as you'll see over the next 12 months and through our head of innovation, Ed Mikowski, will talk about our vision for our platform. We've got a very exciting future coming forward as we start to take the advantages of what we have in integration, develop on top of our API management, bring our event type architecture to market, and then add and invest into our data capability. Because at the end of the day, for us, it's a combination of all of them. It's not just focusing on one, right? And I think we'll see more of that come together.
What do you mean with data capability?
So at the moment, we provide a master data hub capability that allows people to use our platform for, I would call it a lightweight master data management, right? So I'm looking for business logic, I'm building in business rules around the data, I'm providing auditability, I'm providing a capability to start to master and get a 360-degree view of that data, if that pertains to a customer or an employee or a partner or a product, that allows me to build rules and conformities and build those golden records that then can be used and go, okay, this piece of information is, I would call it bona fide, right? We're happy with it, it's trusted, so let's replicate that across the organization. Because organizations have lots of duplicate of multi-master models of data, but if it's HR data, then okay, let's master some of that. But all of that data doesn't need to be integrated or replicated across the enterprise, only maybe first name, surname in your email address, for example.
Absolutely.
And then we know that you don't end up with differences across different applications moving forward.
What I like in what you just pitched is that Boomi is taking it further than the, let's say, other technology vendors. You really value data. And I think you understand data is the new gold of each enterprise, right?
Correct.
So integration is much more than just APIs and services. It's also about how do you deal with your data in the golden records and so on.
Absolutely. At the end of the day, we as knowledge workers in our own organizations consume information, which is brought about the combination of multiple sources of data. And for us, is making sure that that data is of high fidelity and quality, right? And it comes from those trusted sources. If that comes from an API-driven type platform or it's integrated from somewhere else, we are consuming that, right, as information. I think what the business is trying to get to, and going back to your first question around the citizens developer.
Yeah, I would
right?
like to elaborate on that one.
Going back there is, as a low-code platform, we want to make it easier in this world where skills are not where they are, right? Skills shortage, there's development. What we're bringing to the table is not just the skills and knowledge, it's actually the fusion between IT and the business, right? IT is no longer a cost center and will come and manage everything. It is a proactive organization within most companies to say, Mr. Business, how can we help you? How do we drive efficiency? How do we make things more relevant for you to consume our services? And they're looking at then going, well, provide us with platforms where we can self-service, right? Expose the data to us in a way that it's secure, it's managed, it's governed, and it's protected. And then we'll consume that and we'll build our integrations, right, for the applications we need for our own business.
So do you think in the near future more business-oriented people can build their own lightweight integrations without IT personnel?
Correct. So, and we'll see more of that. So in essence, what an organization should be thinking about is building a catalog to the organization around endpoints. So let's say there's CRM system is one of those endpoints, ERP is an endpoint, or it's HR as an endpoint. And actually what we want to do is expose some of that data in a controlled way that allows the business user to go, I can click on this and I can pull that data and I can marry it up with data that I need on the other side, right? So actually taking the manual sort of lifting out of IT, they expose the service and the business come in and consume the service and they can then play until their heart's content.
Yeah, you make sure the security and the governance is all arranged under the hood, so to speak.
Absolutely. But what you tend to find then is if you had two sliding cheese wedges, right, of IT in the business, you've got technical domain knowledge and you've got business domain knowledge coming together in terms of, business analysts and lines of business owners and going, okay, we're in a supply chain example again. We need to do this around our inventory. And IT are going, well, I don't really understand that because that's not my common language, but these are the systems you use. And you're bringing that together. You're reducing the friction and improving the
between IT and the business.
IT and the business, yeah. And also you're moving away from shadow IT, right?
I like that you address actually a very important topic here, and that's the shortage of people. I think in the coming years we have a huge challenge in the whole world, and that's the shortage of experienced IT personnel mainly. But now with this direction, you addresses that element because you shift to the business instead of the IT personnel. So I really like that swift. Something completely different. Recently, we have new technology, artificial intelligence, coming to the market. ChatGPT and Brad. We now have Brad.
Google,
And then I think, okay, Boomi, a low-code platform. So what will happen with artificial intelligence? Is it something on the roadmap, or what's your vision around that?
So a couple of things there. One is we've always had intelligence in the platform, right?
Sure.
The ability to, we leverage the metadata around people using our platform. So it's not that we've gone out and called it, artificial intelligence, etc. It's been there for many years, right? That allow people to come in and with them integrating with their ERP to their CRM system. And we can predict and say, hey, would you like to see our suggestion, which is called Boomi Suggest, right? And we can map that already today in the platform. Now, think about that we've got 20,000+ customers and they use our platform day in, day out. So we've got that metadata, right, which is just the usage, right? It's not the raw process data, it's just the usage of our platform. We've already got a huge foundation over the many years that we can build upon. So we will, and you'll see more of this year, that we will fundamentally invest in machine learning, right, and artificial intelligence across the whole of our platform, right? ChatGPT has got the biggest buzz since it came alive.
But you did it already for many years.
Yeah, we've been doing it for many, and it's also a lot of people have been experimenting in artificial intelligence for a lot of time, right? One of the most fundamental things is around that, that machine learning or that forced training around is modeling, is the data itself, right?
So recap this a bit, because I think this is a really important topic. So actually what you just mentioned is by using the Boomi low-code platform and share a piece of the metadata knowledge across customers, with Boomi Suggest, people have actually faster time to market. The velocity goes way beyond regular. So with your already built-in artificial intelligence,
we'll take it to the next level.
You take it already to the next level.
So we're taking it already there, and customers can see that time to value because it's already pre-mapping things for them, right? What we will do is expand that capability. We're already playing with ChatGPT, right? And it's awesome in terms of what we have. And I think as we move forward this year, we're going to see more of that function. And that's when it comes to that integration, citizen developer. Wouldn't it be really cool that you could go into GPT and go, I want to connect my Salesforce to my ERP system, boom, and it goes off and does it. That is the intelligence that we want to get to make it really easy.
And are you there with your team in the coming years? Or
yes, we are fundamentally on that roadmap to make that happen.
I'm very curious from that one. Right, so that sounds all great, right? And you already mentioned a little bit between the lines where Boomi maybe is lacking some pieces or lacking some functionality at the moment, the existing state. In my opinion, Boomi is great already, but on the API management side, there are some elements you can improve. So what's your vision around that?
So our vision here is, one is we were going to heavily invest on our API management capabilities, right? We know it's an area that is growing in the consumption of what our platform is being consumed. And we also know that we're probably not at the same rate as our competitors. So what you'll see over the next sort of 12 to 18 more months is a huge investment from a Boomi perspective that we would like to see our business that we see today around our integration, the API management is at the same level. So in my analogy, if integration is our Bugatti motorbike, then the sidecar is API management. What we would like to have is two super bikes, as part of our business, which gives not just the capability, but gives, as part of an integrated platform, customers that, actually we can provide simplification. We're bringing together, application integration, orchestration, automation, regardless of how you're going to do it. We'll do it traditionally. We'll use API management. Oh, and at the same time, as more of that data is coming together, let us help you govern it more so. You can do all of that now in one platform.
Yeah. That's great. And what will happen with your best of breed approach? Is there still room for other technology besides the Boomi platform? Or
absolutely, we're a big partnership organization, right? We work with many vendors that help us build capability, both not from what we want to use as a part of our platform, but our customer use cases are huge, right? And each one, we're building the requirements to answer industry challenges as much as niche sort of areas. So we will always work with our OEM and system ISV partnerships to develop that capability. And we will look to capitalize or invest in those areas as we see the market move as part of that. So event-driven type architectures, we work with a number of them. We have capability within the platform as well.
Like PubSub, you have different.
Yes, we have that. But where we might take, we take finance, for example, right? And it's mission critical trade activity happening, right? We might work with existing partners who provide that specific service.
And then you blend integrate in the Boomi platform.
We acknowledge that we're never going to be all things to all people, but through a partnership model, we can actually leverage their capabilities to help answer those complex technical and business sort of goals that they're trying to achieve.
So I hear two really important things. To summarize, you are going to invest in some missing features and elements
Absolutely.
in the coming 12 months,
Yeah.
so to speak. But you still keep maintaining a best-of-breed approach, and you welcome other technology to go along with the Boomi.
Yeah.
So actually, for customers, there's no lock-in. It's
open.
It's open. It's very easy to use the Boomi platform currently today, but also in the near future with additional capabilities. Sounds great. So maybe some closing thoughts. There's the webinar, there's the audience. So what do you want to tell to the audience?
I think the one is we're at a point in time, right, where architecture and the business are going at a phenomenal speed. And if you're thinking around, I need to change, now is a good time to make those changes, right? Is it, I want to be more API-led, I need to improve it? Every organization needs to have a strategy around how they're going to integrate their businesses, right? And their technology to support that. Now, the enablers to do that could be traditional integration, it could be API management, right? It could be event-driven type architectures, but all of that needs to be choreographed, right? It's not the case of we want the orchestration, it needs to be like the ballet. It needs to be choreographed, right? So to make that seamless interactivity between those different services for the business to feel the value of that. And I think Boomi is on that journey to try and provide and move away from point approaches of doing things to a very much choreographed service. And leveraging our platform allows people to move at different maturities through that. And I think, it's a great opportunity for, CTOs, enterprise architects, and the business, more importantly, to take a stop, take a pause. Where is our strategy actually going, right? Is it on the roadmap of where we're going, right? Integration, and like for all platforms, for me, it's a product. It's not a project, right? It's a product in that it needs weeding, it needs feeding, and it will grow and develop from there. If we go and we're going to do this, and then we're not going to touch it for 3 years, right?
That's not how it works.
It's not how it works anymore, right? And I think thinking these architectures like products, that it's going to have a life cycle, right, of how we do things and how we need to change. And with governing rules around driving simplicity, better engagement with the business, right? It looks at the skills gap.
It's a constant movement, and you have to adopt and yeah.
And I would welcome with you is any customers who are at that tangent point of reflection is come and spend some time with us. Happy to run a workshop with you, Ruben, around let's talk about where you're going. This is where we see the businesses. This is where we see architecture, and we'll whiteboard some ideas with you. Right, at least you come back and you've got some experience from our voices.
The moment is now, you said.
The moment is now.
The moment is now, and I think a very important note is keep improving yourself as a customer. Keep improving, invest in your integration technology, and adopt. And transform. Just constantly transform. The world now is never a place of I'm going to stop. I've done something. It is constant change. I'm a big reader. And one of my books I was telling you before, The Atomic Habits, right? And it's those little baby steps that make a huge difference. So over the 12 months, it's amazing how much you could have transformed, right? It doesn't need to be big bang programs of change. It needs to make sure that you have a roadmap around where that platform or that integration service is going and moving for the future. I'm going to read that book.
Yes.
So thank you for that tip. So thank you for joining us on this webinar. Hopefully we see you next time. And again, Boomi has got a great future ahead of them, adaptive technology and a real low code with artificial intelligence. Thank you for watching.